Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I am back with another crochet stitch tutorial. Today I will be showing you how to crochet the Moroccan tiles stitch. It is a gorgeous stitch that I honestly planned to do a tutorial on a couple of years ago, but have put it off several times. So I'm finally getting around to this stitch. To me, it looks like a wonderful stained glass type deal, so if I had a variegated yarn, I would probably use it between a solid color to get a stained glass kind of gradient effect, as I've seen also other people do. So, you know, great minds think alike, I suppose. Anywho, without further ado, I want to dive into this tutorial. This pattern is reversible, and it's also one of those stitches that you want to practice your tension with, because your beginning tension is often tighter than it is when you finish something off, which can lead to this little odd shaping here like I have on my swatch. Also, you might want to use the same yarn, because I did use two different yarns for this, and that also plays a lot into the consistency of the stretch of the fabric. But alright, we're going to dive into the tutorial. I ask that you stick around to the end and I'll tell you exactly what I think you should create with this stitch pattern, as well as recommended yarn types. Alright, let's begin. This video is brought to you by my supporters over at Hey Crafterpreneur. Hey Crafterpreneur is my monthly pattern club, which includes my knitting, crochet, and centro knitting machine designs. Each month, members are given access to at least 2 of these designs, as they are either added to the library or updated, and they will have continual access to my entire written/video pattern library for as long as they are members. Membership also gives you the title of Super Crafty, because that's what you are. Members are also given complimentary access to most of my crochet or knitting courses that are published on the website. For example, I recently published a step-by-step crochet course, which will walk you through all the terminology, discussions about gauge, and the actual mechanics of the craft. It is a self-paced course that is usually purchased individually, but because you are monthly or quarterly supporters, you get access to it totally free as long as you're signed up for the club. The support I get from Hey Crafterpreneur allows me to continue to operate this channel and publish the tutorial content that you've come to know and love. So, if you want to support me and make cool stuff, as I'm sure you've seen under the community tab here, then consider heading over and signing up today after the end of this tutorial. Alright, let's dive into the instruction. Alright, to begin, you want to have 2 different colors of yarn at least. As I mentioned, you can also use a variegated yarn to help with any color transition. But today I have this wonderful silver gray and this blue because they remind me of winter, which it is at the date of this tutorial. Alright, so what you want to do is start off with a slip knot here. So if you're new to crochet, I do have a bunch of beginner tutorials here on this channel. I also have a beginner crochet course over on my website if you want to check that out. The link will be in the description box below. Alright, now to begin your foundation chain, you want to chain in multiples of 3 and then add an additional 2. So here I will chain up 20. So a total of 18, and then add 2. 3. Alright, now in the second chain from our hook, we are going to single crochet, so not this adjustable loop, but 1, 2, and we're going to single crochet. Okay, I'm trying to do that nice and loose for you all. Alright, now what we want to do is we're going to chain 2, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet into the next one over. So 1, 2, I'm looking at my chains here and not counting the one I just worked into. 1, 2, this third one over, I'm going to single crochet into that. Okay, and that is our repeat across the row. So again, 1, 2, skip 2, and then the third one over, you single crochet. And I'm going to single crochet into my last chain here. Oops, if it wants to agree with me. Okay, and this is what row 1 looks like. Now we're on to row 2. For row 2, we're going to be joining color B. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways to join new yarn to a project, but in this case I'm going to draw up this loop from my color A, like so. Okay, and even though I pulled up a loop, I still want to put a stitch marker in there just in case I pull something out. Now I want to come back to my first row, and I'm going to come over here to this first chain space that we made, okay? And I want to connect my second color. So I'm just going to insert my hook, create a little loop with my color B, and I want to go ahead and secure that there with a chain 1. Now I personally don't count that chain 1 as a thing. I pull it down really tight and really low so it doesn't really count, and I chain 1. Okay, now we are going to do what is called a V-stitch. So into this same chain space, we're going to yarn over, going to double crochet. You'll see me kind of catching my tail there because I like to weave things in as I go. Okay, but we're going to double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet again, all into that same chain space. And that's what that looks like. Is it close enough? Yep. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to skip this single crochet right here, and we are going to go ahead and make another V-stitch into that next chain space. So again, it's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Oops. And we're going to repeat that to the last chain space of our row. Alright, and now that I have made my final V-stitch, I want to pull up a loop, just really tall, and leave it there. I'm not turning my work yet. I want to move my attention back to our color A. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker here, and we are going to chain 1. So readjust that stitch there. We are going to chain 1, pull up a loop. We're going to reinsert our hook into our color B, and I'm going to pull on mine just a little bit. And we're going to pull color A through color B, like that. Okay, and then you can pull color B tight, like so, and this is what this looks like. Alright, now that our work looks like this, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. Okay, and here we're just going to leave our color B hanging there. What we're going to do is we're going to start working 2 rows below. So our first V-stitch is going to be worked into this first single crochet that we skipped from 2 rows below. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook. You're going to be working over top your color B here. Going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2 for that first double crochet. Okay, and now we are going to chain 1 and double crochet into that same spot. Okay, we're going to skip this V-stitch in our color B, and we're going to work into that next single crochet from 2 rows below, so here, with another V-stitch. One. Okay, so our work starts to look something like this, and we are going to continue making V-stitches 2 rows below into each of those single crochets all the way across our row. Alright, and now I'm going to come work into this last single crochet over here at the very end with another V-stitch. And this edge stitch, I like to be a little tight in my tension just to kind of draw it in some. Alright, and now I'm going to pull up a loop and I'm going to re-secure that with a stitch marker. Alright, and this is our row 3, what it looks like. Now I'm ready to move on to row 4. For row 4, we're going to be working with our color B again. Coming back here with our color B, gonna have to do some adjusting here. So for this, we are going to be working into this first V-stitch that we did in our color A, and you're just gonna place your hook into that chain 1 space, and I have repositioned my color B to the other side of my work. This stitch is reversible, so it's kind of weird saying the back side, but either way, you're gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're gonna chain 1 there. And then we are going to make our V-stitch into this. Now some people will chain an extra 1 for some height and then do that, so I will do that here. There's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet all into that same chain 1 space. Okay, now we're going to skip all this in here and we're going to work into this next V-stitch with a V-stitch. So basically this whole pattern is nesting V-stitches on top of one another, and it really makes some interesting design there. Okay, but we're going to do that all the way across. So I'm going to V-stitch into the next V-stitch basically. And now I'm going to work into this last V-stitch, which is here. It's kind of odd to see because I pulled it tight, but I prefer it that way because it cinches everything inward and makes my edges straighter. So chain 1, double crochet into that V-stitch. Alright. And this is row 4. Now what we're going to do is pull up a loop, and we're going to come back to color A. We'll be switching back to it. And before we move on from color B, we're going to chain 1 with our color A. So color changes with this stitch are kind of fidgety, and it just takes a little bit more patience to work this stitch than others that I've covered on this channel. But alright, now I want to bring my color A through my color B here, so that's why I'm cinching that strand a little bit more. Don't want to get them crossed up. Just bring that through my color B and pull color B tight to secure it. And now I want to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3, and turn my work. Okay? And now we're working on the technically back side of this stitch. Okay, once you have turned your work, what you want to do is you want to come down here, you want to look 2 rows below again. So here we're going to work underneath this bridge right here that is in our color A. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook 2 rows below, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we're going to double crochet. Alright, then I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, and work my other double crochet into that same space. And this is what that looks like. Okay, and so now we are going to skip the next V-stitch. We're going to come down here 2 rows below between the V-stitches, and we're going to yarn over and create our V-stitches there. And now that we're at the end of the row, we're just going to come down here 2 rows below, and we're going to place 1 double crochet into the top of that chain from 2 rows below. And that is the end of row 5. Right. So I have pulled up my loop super high because of course we're going to be changing color, and so we're going to go back to the beginning of the row with our color B, and we are going to look here at this first V-stitch that we made. We're just going to insert our hook, and we're going to pick up our color B through here, chain 1, alright, and then I'm going to pull mine tight. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to create a V-stitch into this chain 1 space in this V-stitch. So this is row 6. Okay, and going forward we're going to work V-stitches into the chain 1 space of each V-stitch across this row. So into that next space, make my V-stitch. Alright, working into that last chain space of the last V-stitch. Oops. I always manage to drop these stitches anyway. Okay. We're now going to pull up a little loop there, and we're going to come down here and grab our color A. And again, that is chain 1, pull up a little loop. We're going to pull that color A through our color B, like so. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. Alright? So once we've chained our 1, we're going to come work down here 2 rows below with our V-stitch again. So this is row 7. You're going to yarn over, come down here 2 rows below underneath this little bridge here of our color A. You're going to work over top both that row and this blue that we just worked with a V-stitch. Chain 1, double crochet. Okay, we're going to skip the next V-stitch, yarn over, insert your hook underneath that little bridge 2 rows below. I'm going to work there to create that next V-stitch, and this is what that looks like. So you're going to do that all the way across your row. Alright, now when you get to this point at the end of your row, this thing right here is actually our last little space from 2 rows below, so we're going to work a V-stitch there. So there's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that is the end of row 7. I'm going to work up a few more rows of this so you can see more of the repeat, and I'll meet you all back when I'm done with that, and I'll give you my project recommendation for this stitch pattern. Alright, as I stated, you would just repeat rows 4 through 7 over and over again until you reach your desired length of your project. So I went up another repeat, and this is what my fabric looks like. Now, I absolutely love how this stitch looks, but I'm going to be honest, when I first started working this stitch a couple years ago, I did not like working the stitch, you know? But once you get the hang of it, it's something that's relatively easy to maintain. So I, recommend you try it out. Now, for that project recommendation, right, what I'm thinking is you could make pillow covers out of cotton yarn, 100% cotton yarn, or any kind of like handicraft yarn, macrame cord, whatever. And then you could sew either a linen or a muslin fabric on the back of it and make it like a permanent pillow cover, pillowcase, sew a zipper in it maybe if you want to get fancy with it. But I think that that would be a really amazing project to do. Alternatively, if you have that sewing know-how or you like to do hand mending or something, you could stitch that same fabric on a bigger piece of crochet fabric and have yourself a nice little insulated, almost kind of summer blanket, This stitch is reversible. I feel like the color B is more prominent on one side than it is the other, but it could just be my eyeballs, to be honest. You can let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. Again, I hope you like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so I can continue to be a part of your crochet journey. Don't forget to check out Hey Crafterpreneur over on my website. It's always linked in the description box below. And until next time, happy making.